Now stands for not secret anymore.
Yeah. And you might want to ask those who are visiting here to give their comments later on from NSA. But my question is, in light of the situation where the NSA and CIA weren't cooperating before 9/11, and if they had, it might have prevented it, going forward, what do you think would be the proper balance between this kind of data collection and analysis for national security and protecting individual privacy? So what should whatever NSA turns into or other agencies be doing, and how should they cooperate with CIA and others to protect interests while still protecting privacy?
Well, you know, the one problem here is that, first of all, I'd like them to at least start telling the truth about how useful some of these programs are. You had the NSA go for years telling Congress how useful the email metadata program was. And it wasn't until Senator White and Senator Udall put their feet to the fire and said, well, come back here and show us where it's been useful. And NSA couldn't do it. And NSA had to shut that program down in 2011, develop the Internet metadata program. And then when we're discussing this telephone metadata program, the director first came out and said there's 54 cases where this was, it helped prevent 54 attacks or something like that. And then it was down to like 32 or whatever. And then all of a sudden we found out he wasn't really talking about the metadata program, the 215 program. He was talking about the PRISM program, and where you knock on the front door of the agency or the company with a warrant or an order from the FISA court. So when it came down to the actual metadata program, it came down to one success. One success. And actually the deputy director actually admitted this on, the deputy director who just left NSA, Engel, admitted it on public radio about a week ago. It was just this one case, and the case was a guy in San Diego who sent $8,000 to some group in Somalia. I mean, it didn't even have anything to do with the United States, but that was their one success for collecting all your telephone records since 2001. That's what I really hope, is that we can starting to understand the useful programs from the useless programs, and to apply not just the standard of some guy in the back room of a, or woman in the back room of a NSA listening post, but people who are in the civil liberties, the privacy community, hear other voices in this debate.
My question is just about this. Do you think there is willingness in American society? Because the narrative in American society to really restrict, to really end this kind of restrict the activities of NSA, considering the speech about this permanent threat of terrorism, that it ends up always, the narrative that you showed is an NSA that is expanding.
Right, yeah, no, that's a good question, because the question is basically, do you think there's any public support for this? I mean, the problem is you're going up against the terror machine, the fear-mongering machine. I mean, how do you argue, if we don't do this, we're going to have another 9/11 tomorrow or whatever? And that's always the problem, this rational, putting a rational, making a rational argument when you're getting irrational arguments from the government, and the fear is the. So that's one of the key things, is to try to get the. I mean, I wish the press would do more of showing the relative nonsense of so much of this fear. I mean, we've had, what, 23 people have been killed from terrorism in the United States since 2011. Half of that was Major Nadal Hassan, the Army major.